Good morning, everybody. It's going to be suspenseful on the show today because we're going to talk about a wonderful play that starts tonight at New Stage, and I've got some lead characters right here in the studio. Thanks for coming in, you guys. Aren't you super tired, or are you so stoked that you get up and get going, get this day?
Right.
Is that how it is?
We were off yesterday, so we're always off on Mondays, and so now we're rested and we're ready to go. Thank you very much for having us.
Well, in the studio here, that's the voice of Cliff Bowen. He is Mr. Rote in the play Wait Until Dark, and the other voice is Hosea Griffith. He is Sam Hendricks. And one of these guys is a good guy, and one of them isn't. It's about as much as I can say. But Wait Until Dark was a movie made many years ago, and the lead star was Audrey Hepburn. And so if you've seen it, you'll know. I mean, this is not a laugh gag at all. I mean, this is serious stuff, and so glad to have you. If you all would like to call them up and say, hey, you can do so by 888-808-8637, or you can text us, and where's my number? It's 601-987-4395. As long as I've done this show, I can never remember that number. It's just not a tricky number to remember. And then you can watch us at because we're going to live stream here, supertalk.fm/Mary. Do we start live streaming right away, Lance? Mm-hmm. Oh, we are. Okay, so hi, here we are. So everybody's on. So guys, tell me about this story and how you two got into playing on this show. I mean, this is a challenge to say the least, right? Okay, Jose, how about you?
Well, I do lots of things with New Stage, mostly and mainly musicals.
Yeah.
So this is like my second or third straight play ever doing with New Stage. Just came and auditioned and went through the cold reads, and here we are. And thankfully, I am in a cast with such people who do this often, like Cliff and Chris Roebuck. And so we have a lot of veterans in the show, and I feel like I learned so much just by watching them.
Yeah. How long have you been? And then, so Cliff Bowen, so how about you? How did you first of all get into this particular play? And then tell me how long you've been doing this for New Stage.
This one, I was just in The Play That Goes Wrong.
Oh, okay. So I had some of those.
Which was wonderful. That was a great experience.
Pretty funny.
And then while we were running that, I went into auditions for this one. And I've been at New Stage since the turn of the last century.
Well, that's why I say I call it beginning of this century.
Yeah.
Well, so were you there when Malcolm McMillan was there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Malcolm McMillan.
I didn't get to act with him, but yeah.
Yeah. If you don't know who that was, he was a very famous. He was a famous actor, but he was a very famous sheriff of Hinds County for a long time. Malcolm McMillan.
That's right.
And I didn't know he was an actor. Like what? No,
yeah.
And he was very good at it.
Yeah.
And William Jeans has moved to Arkansas, but he's done a lot of stuff.
I didn't know him.
With them. Do you know him?
Yeah.
No, he's a tall guy. He was a Millsaps, not a student, but he was a friend of Bert's. So he was an older guy, and he had been the editor of Car and Driver magazine in Detroit and retired and came back to Mississippi. But recently, within the last couple of years, I guess that he and his wife moved to Arkansas. So, well. But anyway, but those are the only two people I know. But folks, New Stage, if you don't know, and I'm sure you two will know this, it's such a premier facility. Premier, it's great. The people from the what was the musical, the Johnny Cash and all them, that $1 Million Night or something like
$1
that.
Million Quartet.
Yeah, $1 Million Quartet. Yeah, one of those guys was saying he's not from around here, but he knows. He said this is regionally the best. New Stage is the best, and you don't hurt for anything. You just lots of talent and things you do. Are like the big stuff. So tell the story. One of you tell the story about Wait Until Dark, in case people don't know.
This is a great play for this season.
Yes, it is.
It is just perfect because it's not a horror film. It's a thriller. Yes. And it is a suspenseful play. And it's about a blind woman in 1944. She's in a basement apartment. And there is something in her apartment that there are a couple of guys, they want it. And so you're watching them try to figure out how to get it from her. They don't know her. And she's trying to figure out who these people are. There's some new people that enter that she's meeting. And so you have the process of her experiencing these two guys. And you start from the very beginning knowing that I'm a bad guy. I'm Mr. Rote.
Mr. Rote.
And so I'm not giving away anything. Yeah.
Right. What a name.
But, yeah, really. The director, Francine Reynolds, says Roach.
Yes, I was just going to say,
That's an
when
accident.
I was reading stuff about the play, is it Road or Roach?
That's
Yes,
right.
yes.
Yeah, but we are excited. It runs from tonight through November 2nd.
Oh.
Tickets are at newstagetheater.com. And when they got the website, somebody already had New Stage Theater, so they do the British version with Theatre.
Oh, theater.
So, yeah,
Yes,
right.
yes.
Theater. So they're not trying to be pretentious. That's just the way what was
Just
available.
the way, yes.
But New Stage is exciting to have. And years and years ago, you had city fathers that made sure that Jackson had the zoo and the planetarium and museums and parks. And New Stage is part of that legacy, in that Jane Reed Petty, John Maxwell, Eudora Welty
yes.
created this for Jackson. And it's just, I believe, vital that people continue to support it so that it continues to exist.
Exactly.
And the team there, the board, the staff want to entertain Jackson, inform them, educate them, engage them, and they're doing a great job, I
Absolutely.
think. And this plays part of that.
Absolutely. Well, years ago, they did the Diary of Anne Frank, and I had the young woman who played Anne Frank, and she came to do the show here. She looks just like her.
Wow.
She didn't even have makeup on or anything, but just her face, her features, her hair, everything was like, my gosh, I was like talking to Anne Frank. And she's a local person, and lots of plays have got strictly locals, I guess, and then with a lot of people coming in, but. What are you all? So you're both from here, and do you have other people like Mrs. Hendricks, your wife?
Yes, she
who's
is. Mm-hmm.
the blind lady? Does she from around here?
Yes, she is. Reese Overstreet. She's a Jacksonian as well.
Yeah. So tell me about what it was like to deal with somebody who's having to play that they're blind, because I mean she's got to do it. She's got to be perfect at it, and so what's that like?
For me, the hardest part.
We're laughing, but we're not laughing at it. It's just hard.
It is. For me, the hardest part is
'Cause you're her husband. So.
I'm being her husband
Yes.
and wanting to do things for her, but then you want to act like she's blind, but also give her that, independence that a blind person would want. And so it's always juggling this. Do I touch her? Do I go help? Do I stand back? How is she looking at me? Do I look at her in her eyes, or do I just look in her general vicinity?
Because she can't see your eyes, but she can see your vicinity.
Yes, and she's almost not
the
looking
actress-
at us in our eyes.
Wow.
Almost just off kilter, just off of us.
Like looking at her ear top, or your ear top,
Yes.
like I'm doing right now to you.
Yeah, and it looks so weird when you're looking back at her.
Yeah,
Exactly. And that's something that's exciting
I
about.
just crossed my eyes, guys.
Oh, that's right. That's what she was doing.
Couldn't help doing that. Anyway,
Something exciting about live theater is that you are watching the actors interact with each other live. And so depending on what reaction I get from her, that's going to make me change the way I deliver my line, and I will say the same thing, but it might be different. So if you come
Interesting.
tonight, you might see, and probably will, a sort of a different or nuanced performance from tonight to Thursday night. And that's what's exciting about live theater, is you are seeing, quote, real life in a false environment. But
Yeah, that's
things are
interesting.
happening on stage, and that's what makes it organic and interesting as opposed to different than TV or movies, as you're seeing some real reactions.
wow.
Yeah.
Do you ever get, because y'all do things often enough with the new stage, do you ever somehow in the middle of it all get nervous and start thinking, wait a minute, what play am I in, or what's my next line? Does that ever happen?
For me, sometimes, especially in this show, I kind of sit off a lot. They call me the princess of the show.
He shows up and he leaves and he
And I
comes
leave,
back.
and then I come back.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you do have those moments where your brain kind of checks out, where you become so invested in the story that sometimes you fall out of, and you're like, oh, we're actually doing a show. This isn't real. It's a show. People are staring at us. So you gotta like, oh, get back into it. Get back into it.
Oh, interesting. Wow, I've never heard that. I would think that'd be the way to be, though. I mean, you just have to just shut out this world, and you have to be in that world. You have to be those people. don't
And you have to watch what the other actor is giving you, which is so important, and which is challenging when you're playing a blind woman, or when Reese is playing a blind woman, that when I'm acting with her, I'm not getting the same exact feedback. I'm getting it different ways, from her body posture, breathing, things like that to try to make it as real as possible. But I'm not getting eye contact with her.
Right.
And so
Right. No, yeah.
Wait Until Dark is unique in that.
And tell what she did for show preps. I mean, this was interesting what she did.
Oh yeah, they had her go to the Mississippi School of the Deaf and Blind and to talk to people, to watch and observe, and yeah, it was really nice. It was a really great experience for her.
I bet, because their senses, and apparently, as the husband of this woman, you've learned that her senses have changed. She's much more acutely aware of sound, and acutely aware that things have to be in place in the set in the house, but
in a specific place, because she gets used
yes,
to that place,
exactly.
and if it moves, it changes her whole map of the whole house.
Yeah. Wow. We don't want to give this stuff away, but so there's a doll. Is it a doll that's involved in this? Because there are different. The script has kind of changed since the originals, but
yeah, this is a new version. Jeffrey Hatcher did an adaptation. So this, even if you've seen the movie, this is a different show. Things are different. Characters are introduced differently. But yes, there's a doll that is in the house, and there's something. I'm not giving anything away here. There's something inside the doll that these guys really, really need.
And how it got there was Sam, the husband. You were someplace, and somebody put it in your car. Is that right?
I was swindled. Someone put it in my valise in one of my bags as I was on a train coming back home.
Okay.
And they slipped it in my bag, and now we are brought into this sticky situation.
Ooh. And when you open your bag, did you see it? I mean, like, what is this?
Yes.
And did you tell your wife? Does she know about that there's something, or what?
She was actually the one that found it.
Oh,
and
wow,
I snatched it from her.
Sam, what is this? What? This is a doll, right? What are you doing with a doll? And do we have Sam explain? Does he explain? I don't know, or what?
Well, funny enough, Mr. Rote here is the one that explains the situation.
At the very beginning of the play, you see me explain sort of what you're about to see. And that's part of what leads up to the incredible suspense of the show, is that you know just enough to know this is bad if this happens. And maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't. And then we will take a sharp right turn from where you think we're going. And so it's full of just surprise. There's so many people that enjoy listening to suspenseful podcasts. It may be true crime or stories that are mysteries, that kind of thing. And this feeds right into that, especially for this season, that something that is a thriller and suspenseful can be a lot of fun. And that's what Wait Until Dark is, New Stage.
Well, funny, I don't know why it's been on there, but okay, I have satellite radio, and there's a thing called Radio Classics, and they have a lot of stuff like suspense theater or something like that. That's weird stuff. And the Whistler, and I've heard some of this stuff, but I only hear it in my car, so I don't necessarily hear the way it ends. I certainly never hear it, hardly ever when it starts. But it is, when you hear that, it's very suspenseful. And I like listening to that kind of stuff because I like somebody to read stuff to me.
Right.
And I think New Stage does a great job with heightening the suspense with the lights and the darkness and the red, and then all the different sound effects that you get. It's whew.
I was hoping that we had, but we don't in the studio. I was hoping we had a remote button that we could make it darker and darker and darker.
Right.
Here in the studio we can. You just have to pretend it's dark. But so that's one of my questions about how do we, the audience, you have to let us know what's going on. You have to be in the darkness because big things happen in the dark. So it can't be totally dark.
Right.
You've got some kind of lighting in there. Somebody explained it to me. Ambient lighting or something. So we can see what's going on, but yet you don't lose the suspense, right?
Yes, I will say the director, Francine Reynolds, did a great job of really extrapolating the script and finding almost like little Easter eggs of how we can create light on the stage that makes sense with the story and not make it so bright to where everything's just clear. So I think she did a beautiful job of really being very nitpicky about where our sources of light are coming from and how it really affects the mood of the show.
Oh, yeah.
And also, we take advantage of people's imagination about some of the things that take place off the stage, the action that's taking place where you don't see it, but it's being described to you in a way that is very easy to imagine. And when you're imagining, you have great production values, so that you can imagine what a movie would be showing, but using that for this suspense as well.
Is there a narrator? that tells you this stuff, or how do you find out? How do we find out? What is going on with y'all? What you're doing back there?
Yeah, what the characters are
what
describing.
the characters are really up to, by what
and their sound and that kind of thing as well. But yeah,
not scary sound. No, it's not like that.
it's suspenseful sound. It's surprising sound.
Is there? So there's a musical background quality to it, right? Maybe.
In what way?
Well, like in between, like as a transition, or when the lady's walking around her apartment and she's scared of whatever's coming in here. Do you hear some kind of music?
Yeah, we do. In fact, we use one of the old radio announcers at one point that
From here,
comes
a real
in on
person?
the radio.
Oh, no, this is a real thing.
It's from right after World War. During
They were
World War
talking like
II.
this, and they were talking real fast, and like, bing, 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 yeah, hey, man, what's up?
That's right, Lance.
Lance, why aren't you down there doing that?
Well, I have all kind of great radio voices, but the 1940s and 30s, those are the best because everybody's talking so fast
That's
as they
right.
drank 40 cups of coffee and 10 packs of cigarettes.
That's it.
Yeah.
Do you ever listen to radio classics? I've never heard that.
Yeah, I have. Back when I had Sirius XM, that was fun. It was like the old suspense
They did
theater.
the guy goes, suspense. That's the only
That's
one
right.
I like that.
That's it. Yeah, they had a wonderful way.
Oh. By the way, Francine is also from Michigan, like I am.
Okay.
We both lived down here a long time. We've lost our Michigan accents, but we have laughed about it because some people up there. In fact, the last time I was up there was years ago. It just made me nervous hearing all that chop, 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 like very hard R's and things like that.
Yeah.
Like you park your car in
Right.
the garden and stuff like that. Like apparently, I used to talk like that. I don't remember talking like that.
Right.
But I know people do like, Mary, I made you a cherry pie. And I'm like,
right.
did I talk like that?
That's it.
But anyway, so if you ever do something, well, it sounds like Fargo. Anyway, so if she ever does any plays with Fargo, she'll be the perfect person for you to talk to. We're coming up on break time. What you got for music? We'll come back and do another segment with the guys. It's Hosea Griffith and Cliff Bowen in Wait Until Dark. Wait Until Dark. And it starts tonight at New Stage. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Stay where you are. Hi, welcome back to Mary Wieden You. We have added to our people here in the studio. We're talking about Wait Until Dark, which debuts tonight at 7 o'clock. We have added Francine Reynolds. She's artistic director of New Stage, and she came by. Good enough. I mean, congratulations for coming in. That's really terrific of you to do that.
I came to support these
Well,
two. Our marketing director is
They're doing
involved in
great.
having a baby right now. So.
Yes. Yeah, that's Joey. I
Joey.
talked to him yesterday. He's like, I don't know what they. I don't really know
First
what
time
they.
father.
Is this your first? Yes. Anyway, so congratulations to them. And I've got Cliff Bowen. He's here. He plays Mr. Roach, and I was thinking too Roach, but as a name in the play Wait Until Dark. And then Hosea Griffiths. He is the husband. He's Sam Hendricks. And you brought something naughty at your house. Well, not naughty, but you brought something to the house that is the basis of what is going on.
Right.
So,
Well, and for people who are familiar with the movie that was Audrey Hepburn, it was first a play, and then it was a movie in the 60s. There's differences. I know Cliff talked a little bit about this new adaptation of the play. There's differences because it actually moves backwards in time. It goes to 1944. Jeffrey Hatcher decided to revise the play and put it in 1944, which makes sense because I think if you were to put it in contemporary times, it wouldn't work because you'd be sitting there going, well, just get your cell phone, just call. And there's certain things that in 1944 that didn't exist that couldn't help her get out of this situation. So it's very interesting in 1944. And the doll is in the show. In the play, it's a pivotal part of the play, right? But it's different. In 1960s, the doll had heroin in it, and that's why these criminals wanted the doll. In 1944, I'm not going to tell you, but it's different in 1944.
yes, and thank you very much, Lance. And this is live radio. That's okay. You don't have to creep around. We can see you walking around. That's okay.
So there's those differences, and it's been interesting rehearsal because Reese and Hosea play the young couple. Now, I remember from Come From Away, I asked you, Hosea, how old you were at 9/11. You were a baby, right?
Yes, I was in first grade.
You're right,
Oh,
first
okay,
grade.
okay.
Not such a baby. But anyway, the thing about it is in 1944, phones, are quite different. And I was showing Reese, the young woman who plays Susan, the lead of the show, how to check a phone to see if it was out of order, right? If they had pulled the phone line, how to press so it's just really funny about phones are always that thing where young people look at it and go, "What is that?"
Yeah, that's weird. I mean, I would think they would know what a push button phone was. I mean,
Well, this is a dial.
but
This is a rotary.
That would be different.
This is
that
a
would be
rotary-
weird. That would
rotary
be a
phone.
weird thing. Push button phones are like, I mean, you see them all over the place.
Yeah, no
I mean,
rotary phones.
No rotary phones
And radios, radio? 1940
What is that?
radios.
Yeah.
So anyway, those things are on the set of the play, which is just really the set plays a big part of the play too.
And she has to be careful where she's walking around, like we were
Right.
talking about. The experience of learning from the blind people at the School for the Blind. You must always keep things exactly the way they are. And so, does anything happen in the play where things get moved around?
Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
Right. And in rehearsal, we created these little raceways for Reese because we figured, in knowing all of that you would have certain paths that you walked in the apartment. And of course, all the paths are upset in the play.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. And you, Mr. Rote,
Right.
get in the middle of it. Are you one of the people who messes things up in there?
Possibly.
Possibly. And who
Yeah.
are the other characters you play, or character who you?
Well, Rode is, as this villain, has lots of different methods that he uses to get what he wants. And so he might be able to do different accents. He might be able to, so he's a con man that has had some time to go over different methods. I don't want to give away too much.
No.
Well, he uses different ways. He's a pretty adept criminal. I would say he's a really good criminal
Oh, well,
and
that's-
kind of psychopathic. So.
That's right. That's
Did
right.
you have him in mind when you cast it?
Absolutely not. When Cliff came, he was in the play that goes wrong at this time
Yeah,
when
he
we
said
were
that.
auditioning. And when he came into auditions, Cliff is so nice, and I was like, I didn't even plan for him to read Rote. And then he read it, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's really kind of creepy. And then he came back to callbacks. It was just really creepy. So he found that.
Can you do a couple lines that are creepy in your creepy way of doing it? In your creepy voice?
Creepy way?
Creepy voice.
What would it be?
There's something that wouldn't give it away, but
Blind, play with blind girls.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, you know what they say. The good they take, and the bad, they get to play with blind girls.
ooh.
There's more. There's more, but
It's just
There you go.
creepy.
New stage. Wait till dark. Tonight through November 2nd.
Yes.
Come get the
He's
chills.
very good at
It
marketing,
sounds like
by the way.
you should have thrown
Wow.
out like free puppies and candy with that too. Ooh, that was spooky, man.
All right.
what's also really neat about this play is that I'll go back to I told the cast this. I saw Sunset Boulevard on Broadway this past summer, and there's a moment in Sunset Boulevard where the guy's killed and the entire auditorium goes dark, and for a little bit, and it was an experience, and everybody, you could have heard a pin drop. Well, this happens in Wait Until Dark too, so that's you're experiencing it as a community, and it's kind of neat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a little scary, but it's neat. It's just kind of a cool experience because it's so quiet. So
It's Sunset Boulevard where the woman's coming down the stairs, the old actress, and somebody said, you were big in pictures. And she said, what happened to you? She said something like, it's the pictures got little.
that's the old movie. Now this new Broadway version is quite different. But yeah, it was an example of you can. In this day and age, it's really hard for an audience to be quiet and focused, but it can happen. And so that's the experiment, right? How do you get an audience in tune with what's going on? And that's the challenge. That's what the actors in the production have to convey and do, is to create that atmosphere where an audience is just kind of listening. And that's different. It's really different in this day and age. So I'm curious to see how it all plays out.
And you don't have full bright lights. We were talking about the lights, and Hosea was saying that you've done some kind of tweaking or some magical things with lighting to where we can see, the audience can see, but
Most
yet
of the time.
Oh, well, then you can see where they're. But how do you achieve that?
Well, one, you have to have actors who are comfortable in the dark, and we do. They're very good, and I mean, and it's been rehearsed or whatever because you have to be safe. We with a grant from the Mississippi Arts Commission, it's called the Building Fund for the Arts Grant. We were able to upgrade our lighting system, and we have all of these great LED instruments that have all these functions and ability to do different things. And so that really helps in being able to do things quickly. And so but there's always, like, we say dark, and it is dark, but we do maintain some safety things.
Ambient lighting. Or something.
You just have to come and see.
No flashlights or anything like that.
There are flashlights.
Oh, there are. But the poor wife doesn't.
It doesn't help her.
Nothing helps her. Well, how are you? How much is so Mr. Wrote there? So you're him and you're him, but he has different voices and identifies himself differently on the phone as being somebody. But so Sam, the wife, the husband, how much of it are you in it? I mean, and how are you helping her, deal with these god awful people coming into the place?
I would say my help for her comes earlier before the play starts. At the end. Yeah, and at the end. But I feel like Sam, most of the show he is gone. That way there is this tension between these people, these robbers, these conmen, and this vulnerable blind woman. So I have to be gone most of the time. So we have this great fight. But I feel like Sam has done a great job himself in really readying Susan for something like this. And you'll see throughout the play how he always tries to use a moment to teach her. You're going to be blind and you're going to be by yourself at some times. Let's learn how to pick up on these things. Let's learn how to do some things.
It's important to note that in the story that the character of Susan is newly without sight.
About a year, right?
A year and a half. And so that's the challenge. She gets frustrated, right? But I mean, the resilience of a person who learns how to use other senses is kind of what's going on. She's using other senses to overcome what had become a challenge for her. And that's to me, the heroic aspect of the character.
I was asking when we were talking about some of this before we came into the studio. I was asking about there's a part where the only light on, I think, is the refrigerator light, and she turns it off. How does she know to turn it off? And Hosea said,
"You got the hum of the refrigerator," and she picks up on it.
Yeah, she knows that kind of thing. Yeah, that's fascinating. And where does Mr. Rote come into the scenario? Okay, here they were happily married people, and then this thing comes in the house, and hell kind of starts to break loose. How do you come in? What are you doing to get into the place?
Well, that's part of the con. He's trying to figure out, and that's one thing that's interesting about Wait Until Dark is that Rote is intelligent. And what I have found with him is that he's very curious about things. And so when he's interacting, he knows that Susan has other senses that she's using. And so his idea is he's going to take advantage of those other senses, just almost as if he's playing with her. He finds her interesting in the way she's operating, and what can I do to take advantage of these things? He's just awful. But he's captivating, and Susan is captivating.
Well, when does he find out that she's blind? Does he see her, or does he come to the door looking for, hey, we got a doll?
There's a whole setup.
Yeah, there's a setup on that one.
There's a setup on that. I'm really getting into this.
Yeah.
Well, it's set up. It's the exposition. I can't remember what the movie, but it's the exposition. You find out that he has already been to the place, so it's hard to talk about without giving away too much.
So much away.
Yeah, that's true. Well, we won't give it all away, but when's the run again? Cliff said it at the beginning, but
tonight, and then it ends on November 2nd. Starts tonight through November 2nd.
So
and we have
Halloween.
We have 3 matinees. We have Sunday, this coming Sunday, the 26th at 2 p.m., and then November 2nd at 2 p.m. But we also have Wednesday, October 29th, there's a 1 p.m. matinee. We started doing 1 p.m. matinees on our second Wednesdays, and they're people like them. It's kind of a break in the day for those who are working, and for those who are not, it gives an opportunity to come out in the daytime instead of the night, because some people don't want to drive at night. So.
Well, you go until the 4th of November, right? So
Second.
The 2nd? Oh, is that the last day of the play?
Yeah.
Because that's time change.
Oh, is it? That's
Yes,
right. Yeah.
yes.
Oh, yeah.
It gets darker sooner.
Yeah, we
Let's
fall
do
back.
that. But the trick to that, to enjoy it, don't change your clocks until you wake up in the morning. You think, oh, gee, it's 7 o'clock in the morning. I forgot to do something. No, and then you go and change your clocks back and give yourself a whole extra hour.
We don't change our clocks. Our cell phone does it for us.
I've got an alarm clock next to my bed. It does it.
Oh, no.
And the stove.
Oh, everything
and
does
the
it for me.
microwave.
My car does it. My phone.
My car, this car I have
atomic
does
clock.
not do it. Watches and stuff, computers and like that. Well, listen, y'all, thank you so much for coming in. Really
you,
enjoy
Mary.
this. This has
Appreciate
been
this.
fun.
Thank
really,
you,
it's going to be
Mary.
a fun, suspenseful thing. Wait until
It
dark
is.
at New Stage. Starts tonight through the 2nd of November, and you can call New Stage or
Go to
call
our website to get tickets.
NewStagetheater.com.
Theater.com. THEATRE.com.
Theater. Yes, New Stage Theater.
NewStageTheater.com.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Well, thank you a lot.
Thank
and
you.
good luck.
Thank you.
It'll be a fun run. I can tell you, you guys are going to be great.
Thank you so
And
much.
Francine is directing. She's doing great too. Thank you so
Fantastic
much.
job.
Yeah, we'll have one freewheeling segment coming up after this. Thank you so much. We got a few minutes here with ourselves. Dr. Glenn Antizzo was on with Richard this morning, and after he was on our show on Friday, I went home and I had to find out about Tomahawk missiles. Ooh.
Cruise missiles.
Ooh.
Those are rough.
There's a wonderful depiction, it's art and everything like stuff that shows you.
As the wings come out. and everything.
Yeah, it launches. They show a couple of launches. Like there's one from on top of a boat, and there's one from a submarine. But then they level off, and the wings come out. All the stuff that's inside, they're just amazing. And that technology, they're so old. They were in the 70s, and just learning about them now. And they must be whoever invented them way ahead of themselves on that deal.
Well, and China's been trying to steal them since we invented them. So
And they haven't gotten that far, have they?
I don't think they have on the Tomahawks. No, there's obviously a very tight security on those. And,
Oh yeah. There would certainly have to be. I mean, that is just awesome. And if you just Google Tomahawk missiles, you'll find there's an 11-minute piece that's done by, I don't know who it's done by, but it'll show you how they work.
They were invented by Applied Physical Laboratory at Johns Hopkins University back in the 70s. And they're actually manufactured by Raytheon.
Yes, it says Raytheon on the side of.
But the technology was actually invented at Johns Hopkins.
Yeah,
and
wow.
then mass-produced at Raytheon.
Mass-produced. I mean, I guess they would be. I wonder how much they are. What was couple $1 million a piece?
Let's see.
At least.
I got it.
You got it handy. But
Right here.
But we're not letting Zelensky have any. So,
Maybe 1.3 million per.
Yeah, that's a pretty good price actually.
Could come up to, if you go with the updates, it could be about 1.89 million per rocket, and sometimes it says it could range to 12.5 million depending on supply.
Then I had this fantasy in my head of, okay, so the Israeli side, we want the Hamas, part of the deal was to get rid of those tunnels. Well, boy, you could send one of those things down and do some great damage with tunnels. That'd be the end of the tunnels, I would think.
Think of it this way. When you sell them to the U.S. military, about 1.8 million is the max. If you sell them to outside sources exported, they're about 12.5 is the ceiling. So 12.5 million. So if you're selling Tomahawks to the Dutch, you're going to the highest price they're willing to pay is 12.5 million. So.
But you know what I'm saying about, though, they could go down into those,
they can do all kinds of
the
stuff,
tunnels. They could just, you could program them to go right into the tunnels and wipe out the tunnels. That'd be
They
the end
got
of
those
that.
drones now. I mean, one of the things that has happened in Russia as a result of those two battling it out and being at stalemates, generally for a long time, it's been the drone warfare. And they've been, the Ukrainians have been extremely resourceful in how they've gone about using drones.
Well, can they do what the Tomahawk could do, like pinpoint?
Well, they'll have
go
like a
down in
plastic explosive on it. Yeah,
go down inside the earth, though. You don't nothing on top. You just go wherever the entrance is. Go into the entrance.
They can hover and go into
there.
these tunnels and things, and they'll have
Drones?
plastic explosives that are rigged for it. Where
Drones?
the whole thing will blow up as they go. It's like a suicide bomber, basically,
Yeah.
but using technology to do it.
Well, this would be smaller. This would be a lot
Well,
smaller.
the cruise missiles are huge. I mean, a drone is about
Tomahawks.
as big as.
Oh, the little drones.
Little drones. You just put a
oh.
C4 on it and fly it in there and blow up stuff. They've been doing that for 2
I didn't know
years.
they were that little.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. These are little bitty
I think
drones.
the drones that I see, they're big. The ones that I've seen, military drones, seem like they're so huge. They're almost like a
You've
small
got a lot.
airplane.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The Ukrainians have gone a different route. They have used those better drones for longer distance recon and things like that, and to deliver payloads. But the very specific, like trying to hit a certain tank or to come in at a way where you're unseen, and that they've used basically what we would call recreational drones, where they're rigging them up with explosives and running them into stuff like a suicide bomber or a kamikaze pilot.
Well, that would be a little more efficient.
And
they're
like $100.
You launch it, really?
Yeah,
you launch them anywhere.
$150 from anywhere.
Go on down to the hobby store.
So exactly. That's basically they've taken a hobby style to use as much more of a kamikaze attack, and then obviously you have the larger drones that are made for much more defined purposes.
Yeah. Wow. Well, the other thing I want to talk to you is the Ole Miss game.
Oh,
and
goodness
after the game,
gracious.
the heart attack time.
Between the Giants, the Dogs, and the Rebels, man, that was just a rough weekend.
Yes. Well, I didn't see anything but part of the Ole Miss. I saw part of the Ole Miss. I saw it at the beginning, and I saw when Washington State scored. I thought, oh dear, it's going to go down.
You mean Georgia?
Oh, Georgia. Yeah.
That Washington State game was a week before, and it was uglier.
Yeah, that was.
They just won it.
That was ugly enough. But then I saw the last couple minutes of Saturday's game. And I guess I'm getting mixed up because maybe it was this Saturday when this reporter just wouldn't get off of Lane Kiffin. She kept asking questions, and he's like, South was like, "Get me out of here! Shut up!"
I didn't watch the questioning, but because I was distraught after losing that game in the fashion that they did. So then State, throws the interception, and that lost it. They could have had an opportunity to win that game. And then the New York Giants, under quarterback Jackson Dart, the Broncos scored 33 points in the fourth quarter to beat the Giants by 1 point. The difference was when the Giants were up 19-0. They go for 2 to make it 21-0. A stupid decision. You're up 19-0. 20-0 is better than 19-0. You take the 1 point. You lost by 1 point. So the fourth quarter was literally the most amazing offensive display I've ever seen in the NFL. A team down 19-0. Comes back and wins 33-32.
Amazing.
In 4 quarters. I mean, it was the fourth quarter that did it.
Well, how about them Lions last night?
I'm telling you, best trade in the history was swapping Stafford and the quarterback.
I don't know. I didn't see any of it, but I just...
Well, several years ago, there was a trade.
I remember
Jared
Matt
Goff,
Stafford was...
Jared Goff was out west, and they traded him to Detroit. And Matt Stafford was at Detroit, and he went out west. And both of those have thrived and been great for their respective teams. I would say probably the best trade of two teams in 20 years, because it's worked out so well for both parties. And Detroit has absolutely been.
I hear they're doing well this year.
I love their coach too.
He's
tough.
See, I've never even been to a Lions game, and I don't watch them. But who's their coach?
I can't think of his name. I've got it right
He's
here.
really good, though.
Oh, yeah.
I just heard that they were doing well this year. So are they doing well enough to maybe get in the playoffs?
Oh, yeah. They're
going to get in the playoffs?
They should. They're leading their division right now.
Because they've never, they've been in the playoffs before, but they've never, touched their toes to a Super Bowl.
Dan Campbell, Now, he was a great player back in the day and very hard-nosed coach who coaches the way he played. And the team plays that way. You're never going to see a team play harder or more physical than this Detroit Lions team. They're just so physical and and that's an identity from their coach.
That their defense is really just the defense is
And their running game and offense, they pound you to death.
Is it the offense that's really good,
both
too?
of them. That's what I'm saying. That's a team put together by a guy that played defense, was a great player, and hard-nosed, well thought of. And when he got the job, everyone really said, this guy's going to get it done. You hear that all the time with new coaches, but Dan Campbell had a lot of I would say, belief in him, and they made a couple trades that really helped. They built a running game that is second to none. They went out and got a great quarterback, and their defense is
who's their quarterback?
Jared Goff. Yeah. And he had struggled, when he was where he was before. Out in the Rams, and then and Stafford always struggled with Detroit. They never could get over the hump. But once those two swapped teams, both teams have been lights out since then. So it's been fun to watch both.
I haven't watched any NFL stuff. And usually I'll kind of keep up with New Orleans, when when Eli and Peyton were playing.
Well, and
those
now
guys
we got
were-
Jackson Dart up there.
But Jackson Dart. Now, whose team is he with?
The
Jackson Dart?
Giants, yeah.
The Giants.
New
Oh, okay.
York Giants,
You
the
can pay
team that
attention to
lost
them.
in the fourth
Yeah,
quarter.
lost by one.
Hey, he had a pretty good
One
game
point.
until the very end there, and it's like anything, you got to finish. You got to learn to finish. Ole Miss didn't finish. State didn't finish.
Excuse me, finance guy. I just point this out to you. The Dow 47,012.32 up 305. Is that scary, or is it like okay?
I mean, I'd have
good,
to
that's
chart
good.
it out to look at it to really, if something worried me. I mean, with anything, there's always going to be ups and downs. It's just a matter of
Yes.
looking at it. And
47,000. That's
I
pretty
think
good.
50 is probably one of those psychological numbers, as many are. I remember we were trying to get through 20,000. I remember we were trying to get through 30. You run, and that's what you call a resistance level when something continues to bump its head at the top and it doesn't want to bust through it.
Yeah,
The
boys.
support level's at the bottom when something falls and falls and falls and then it stabilizes. That's your support. So finding your support level for the Dow and then finding your resistance level, generally they trade in between that. And you want to find out your moving averages
Well,
and stuff
yeah,
just to see
when
what
it gets high like that, you want your own, portfolio. You want to stay there. Don't go down.
Well, if you're trading,
don't
yeah.
go down. Just stay right there. I don't want to lose anything.
If you're
I got
trading,
this.
it's
We're on a
great.
roll.
If you're trading, it's great. You want volatility. When you're investing for the long run, you would like the growth. So
Yes.
it
You
depends.
like it to stay high.
In the markets are so driven by algorithm now that you will see big days because the computers are generally programmed very similarly, where good news and buying happens, and then maybe profits are high. They take those profits, and then a week later things bounce and come back up. So there's so much ebb and flow. Because there's so much trading going on at a regular basis, much more volume.
Yes, well,
And
we
that-
like it.
yeah.
We just like it to stay high. I don't know who we're going to have on Friday yet. I'm hoping to have a particular person, but I can tell you that on Halloween, boy, that's going to be a
That's gonna be
special.
fun
That's going
one,
to be
yeah.
a special treat on
Is
Halloween.
there like a local witch that we can call in or anything? Like a good
No, you
witch?
got to look a witch. Every
Not like a good
show I
witch.
do is a witch. No,
the White Witch of the West or
Wicked Witch of
something.
the North. No, I have something better than that, and it's going to be a milestone for me because it's something that I said I would never do, and I'm doing it. But Halloween. But anyway, we'll see what happens this coming Friday. So stay tuned. Okay, have a good week. The rest of it, stay dry. I guess it's gonna rain, and see you on Friday. Thanks.